Hey guys, what's up and welcome to the unboxing and review of the Alldocube iPlay Max 70 Pro, a massive 13-inch tablet that has got a 2.5K display, a new T715 octa-core processor, SIM card support, speakers, 10,000 milliamp hours, wide VIN level 1 support, as well as some pretty fast storage. So let's open this up and see what we got. So first we open up the box. And let's see what we have inside. Okay. So we have the tablet itself. Let's put that aside for now. We have a SIM eject tool. We also have I think this is a user manual. I'm gonna ignore that too. Oh, is that a stylus? Yeah. Let's take a look at this stylus. Nope, it's not a stylus. Never mind. I was excited for a little bit. So we have a USB-C cable. I'm gonna put that in the box because I have 1,000 of them. Let's open it up and see what else we have inside. And then we have a charging brick. Okay, let's take a look at the tablet itself. Okay, so this is the actual tablet itself. 13 inches. It's a large tablet. Just for context, this is a 14-inch laptop that we have at home, right? So 14-inch laptop that we have at home, 13-inch tablet. It's quite a large device here. So I'm gonna do the sticker peel here. Just gonna be careful. There we go. Sticker peel, nice. Okay, so let's take a look at the build quality of this tablet. So it does feel quite nice. Metal in the back. The model here says T1308, but it is the iPlay 70 Max Pro. You have a camera bump. Not a huge fan of camera bumps, unfortunately, so it says AI, but whatever. 13 megapixels, LED flash. I think it's a single camera, not a dual camera. I think that's Alldocube's new logo. And then on the front, we have the tablet. It has a pre-installed screen protector. And now, on this side, we have power button, volume buttons, as well as dual speakers on this side. And then here we have two speakers as well as a USB-C port, which looks to be offset a little bit. You can even see there's a little bit of a ridge where the body kind of has to extend out a little bit for this USB-C port. Not sure why they didn't put it in the middle, but I'm sure they had a reason for that. And then on the bottom here, we have two little notches as well as a pogo pin for keyboard, which I don't have yet, but I would like to get it so I can test it out. And then on the top here, we have SIM card slot. Okay, let's turn this thing on and see what we got. Okay, so I spent a little bit of time setting this tablet up and playing around with it. So let's take a look at this and see what we got. In terms of the quality of the display does look decent. Like, it's a little bit hard to see because of the sunlight, but okay, so I spent a little bit of time setting up the tablet and playing around with it. That is a picture of my dog. She is very cute. Let's go through the display first. So this is a 13-inch 60 hertz display with 2560 by 1440 2560 by 1600 resolution. So here I'm going to show you probably one of my favorite videos to show, just to showcase what this display can do. And let's turn the volume down because we do not want to get copyright striked. So I've turned the brightness all the way up. So the company has said that this display is capable of 500 nits or 450. It doesn't look 500, 450. It looks more like 400 to maybe 350. But nevertheless, the color reproduction of this tablet is pretty good. It is a little bit reflective, as you can see. The display is a little bit reflective. I wonder if it's in-cell laminated, so we'll have to see there. But as you can see, the color reproduction is quite good. Greens are nice and deep, reds are nice and easy to see. They're nice and vibrant. All of that is quite good. 60 hertz is not a 90 hertz display, but this is, again, it's a fairly cheap device. You're looking at, I think, 190 US for a 13-inch device like this. But it's still plenty good for gaming. And if you wanted 90 hertz, this thing couldn't push you 90 hertz anyway, so just be aware of that. But yeah, overall, it's pretty good. The touch sensitivity was something that usually most people don't talk about, because as long as it's good, no one cares. Decent. It's fine. You're not going to complain about the touch sensitivity here. There is a little bit of a gripe that I do have, and that is minimum brightness. So, minimum brightness doesn't get very dim. So, you can still kind of see the display, right? This is like fairly bright sunlight. So if you're using this in a very dim setting, it's gonna hurt your eyes, and it did hurt mine because it's a 13-inch device, doesn't get very dim. Yeah, so that's probably my only gripe with regards to the display of this tablet. All right, so you have stereo speakers here. So I'm going to let you listen to what this song sounds like. Again, used by many YouTubers to test the sound, and here we go. Okay, so sound-wise, they boast, I think, four speakers, which would give you stereo separation. It's fine. It sounds okay. You get very, very slight amount of bass. Clarity is decent. I wouldn't say these speakers are anything to write home about, but they'll definitely do the job. If you're getting this for your average person, you're not going to notice that this is bad sound, because it doesn't. It's pretty decent sound. So nothing to complain about here, but also nothing to write home about either. Okay, so this thing has a 10,000 milliamp hour battery with a 33 watt fast charging as well. That being said, it is a 13-inch device. You're running a Unisoc T715. Yes, it's a 6 nanometer device, but you're still going to be, draining this a little bit faster. I won't say super fast. I could get 6 hours. 6 hours of use with this. The moment you're gaming, you're probably down to 3, maybe even 2. Depending what games you play, but I would say 6 hours, maybe 7 if you really stretch it. If you're doing something that is a little bit lower brightness. Otherwise, yeah, battery life is as expected. I didn't really have any complaints or things to note there. All right, so let's talk about the software here. So there's some good and some bad with regards to the software. So this thing is running so first of all, it's running Alldocube OS 5L, right? So that is their own proprietary, I guess, skin on top of Android 16, right? You get 16 gigs of RAM, you get 128 gigs of storage. So my favorite thing about this is actually PC mode. So when you turn PC mode on, you actually get this desktop looking system here. Now, it's quite good because, for example, you basically have your start menu on this side, right? Your start menu, and then you can swipe, you can make it bigger, you can make it smaller, you can lock the screen, you can go to settings, you can quit, which will take you back to your original launcher. Down here, you can click, and it's kind of like Windows 11's notifications, and then you can click again and access your quick settings over here. You have your time, you have your carousel, carousel over there, your home button, and your back. And when you open something, let's say I open Pinterest, right? It opens in a smaller window, which is quite nice, right? So if I open this, let's say, and then I open New Pipe, it opens in a smaller window. And then if you want to expand it, you go maximize, you can minimize it again, you can click and drag to make it bigger and smaller, like so. you can go, let's go to TikTok, for example. Let's say you want to watch some TikTok, which I do not recommend, bad for your brain, while you're browsing the internet. So let's say, okay, so we'll do this, right? So we'll open this, we'll go to a website, and here you can browse the web while you're watching a TikTok on this site. So it is quite useful. Now, here's the problem. This thing is buggy. So I found that there was times when your entire taskbar would just freeze and it just wouldn't work. Now, I very, very much like this implementation. I think it's great, but I kind of wish that they were able to make this a little bit better. Like, for example, here, right? As you can see, I can't click and drag on the screens anymore for some reason. I don't know why. Again, this is some of the bugs that come up with this mode here. Not sure why, but it's not fully bug free. Concept is amazing, but it's not fully ready. So after I used it for a couple of days, I actually turned this back off. See what I mean? Like, there we go. And I went back to the original launcher because I couldn't take it anymore. And of course, it's a lot more useful when you're doing desktop stuff with a keyboard, which there is a keyboard, but I didn't get it. Okay, the Unisoc, so Unisoc T15, T715, again, 6 nanometer product. As you can see, everything launches in fairly quick succession, right? You have 16 gigs of RAM, or 8 plus 8 gigs of RAM, right? Swiping is easy, swiping is good. This interface is not buggy, but the other one is, as I showed you before. And again, software is pretty good. I don't really have too many complaints, right? This has Widevine certification. So for example, if you wanted to watch some Prime or Netflix or something else, you could totally do that. And it is high definition. Of course, I have new pipe, which is something that I use. And yeah. So before I moved on, one of the best use cases for this is actually comics. So it's actually really nice because this thing is so big that you can read 2 pages side by side quite easily. And at least, for example, in this Hulk comic here, right? I'm going to open up some other comics as well. For example, we can go to Vision and Scarlet Witch. Again, you can rotate it, but yes, so you can see here, colors are quite vibrant. Resolution's quite high. You can zoom in, you can zoom out, etc. So comics is a very good use case for this tablet. Okay, this is Genshin Impact. The Unisoc T715 is not a super powerful device. So this is I'll say, kind of intense area to walk by. You're looking at between 25 to 30 FPS at medium settings. You can play at low settings, but I tell you, man, it does not look good, right? So if I'm gonna switch this to low settings, it doesn't look good. Let's go here. We'll go, or lowest. So, and then we exit. Like, look at that, man. That, like, do you want to play like that? I wouldn't. But yes, you can play at 25, 30 FPS at medium settings, and that looks a little bit better. So let's go back and we'll change the settings back to medium, and then it'll tell you get performance low is too high, overheating, blah, 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 blah. And as you can see, it looks passable now, right? It looks better. Yes, it's a 2560 by 1600, so you're actually kind of like kind of running at 2K. Which again, it's not even not a PC, so the fact that it's running this pretty good is already quite decent. With Diablo Immortal, we're looking at very much the same thing as well, right? So on low settings, it looked absolutely terrible, but with regards to high settings, it's better, or not high settings. This is currently medium settings. You're running at approximately 30 FPS. So also playable. So yeah, this tablet can game. You're just gonna have to be satisfied with low settings, if anything, and medium settings if you're willing to tolerate lower frame rates. Okay, I want to talk about network and internet. Yes, there is a SIM card. I'm going to put up the bands that this currently supports here, although I didn't put my SIM card into this device. Internet, Bluetooth, everything works quite well. I like that there is a network indicator at the top that tells you the speed. You can disable that, of course, but I like to keep that on. Don't really have any complaints. The one thing I do like is that nowadays, like, I think what's becoming standard across almost all devices, which, you know, it was in older Android devices for a while, but now it's becoming standard everywhere, is you can change your DNS, right? So what I did is I put a DNS provider, which is AdGuard for, well, it's family and AdGuard, which means it actually blocks, adult websites as well as ads. I guess we'll have to go there and log in. If you go to Tubi, you will see that I am on the ad-supported version of this, but I see no ads because of the AdGuard, and very easy way to get rid of ads. That being said, it doesn't work on YouTube. That's why I still use the other YouTube app, which is NewPipe, to get rid of ads, because it doesn't work. YouTube will still give you ads. Get out of here. Okay, last thing to talk about is the camera. Like, why are we even talking about cameras? Like, cameras are just, you have a cell phone, okay? Right? You have this thing. So if you have a cell phone, why are you using a camera on this device? So just leave the camera, let's not even talk about it, and go use the camera on your cell phone. Okay, overall, I am quite pleased with this tablet. It's approximately about $190 US, and you're getting quite a bit of tablet for your money. You're getting a 13-inch display, 60 hertz, I'll say a low to mid-range processor that can play games. As you could see, Genshin Impact, Diablo Immortal. Sound is decent. The battery is 6 to 7 hours. That's fine. You can watch a high-quality video. And you get 128 gigs of storage and 8 plus 8 gigs of RAM as well. Overall, this is a decent tablet, no doubt about that. I think what would make this tablet even better is if it had the keyboard, which will come out very soon, but it's still not out at the moment. And of course, we have to talk about the PC mode, right? I love this mode so much, but it's just not ready yet. Not by a long shot, but when it is, I think this will be very, very good for many people who want to use an Android tablet as their desktop. Absolutely. So I do highly recommend this tablet. I cannot wait until Alldocube fixes that PC mode, because that is an amazing mode. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next